Hey guys, welcome to this week's podcast episode. And today's talk is all about creation, creativity. And with that, I've got Kamal Johnson, and he is a YouTuber, he's a podcaster, and he's a producer and director. He likes to call himself as a digital comedian. So he's got an very interesting personality, and happy to welcome him to the show. So, Kamal Johnson, welcome.
Hey, what's up, man? I do gotta correct you though, because I don't consider myself a YouTuber or podcaster. I consider myself a news anchor, and I'm running a news company and a news channel. It just happens to be on YouTube and podcast platforms. So I consider myself that. And the only reason why I consider myself a digital comedian is not me that's saying it. It's these, I'm gonna be honest, these hating ass dweebs out here that be hating. And they were the ones trying to talk crap like, oh, what you think? You think you a comedian or something? I'm like, wait a minute. I am digital. And y'all think I'm a comedian. That's kind of how I got my nickname, the Black Seinfeld. So I'm using all they hate against them and stuff like that. And when I'm out in the world talking to people, people assume that like I'm a comedian and they think I'm funny. So I don't think myself as a digital comedian. It's the world that thinks that. I consider myself a news anchor and I'm
Mm,
running a media company. So yeah.
interesting. So if you're how do you reconcile news anchor and comedian together?
It's the same as like looking at any other news station that some people might think Tucker Carlson is funny. I don't think he's funny at all. I think he's lame. But some might think he's funny. Or I think a person like John Oliver, I think he's really funny. You know what I mean? He gives the news and he's a comedian in a sense. Also, another person that I feel gives the news and some would consider a comedian at times is Tariq Nasheed. He's another person that I know gives the news, and but he considers himself a comedian, but I consider him also a comedian. Somebody gives the news. Dewan B. Um, Another person out there that gives the news and has a comedic flair at times is a person named Professor Black Truth. So that's how I consider. I don't really consider myself a comedian, more of the news, but that's how they intertwine with each other. If you really watch news at times, like sometimes I watch PBS and yeah, they don't try to be funny, but sometimes they kind of funny the way they try to deliver the news and stuff like that. So that's how I intersect the two and stuff like that. And also, I'm sad that these two are fighting now, but they were kind of like inspiration. But Desus and Mero, they broke up, and I consider them like comedians and also giving out the news and stuff in that nature. So sad that they fighting though, man. They beefing right now. So
Yeah. It's
mhm.
quite interesting because this whole social media landscape, and it's like basically you can have people having their own media outlets. You have yours, you've got your personality. I think what's really interesting is your brand has got a very distinct flair and personality to it.
Mhm.
So one thing it's talking about is what how do you what types of content resonates with your audience? Because it's you've got really a very interesting personality, and what types of audience resonates with your message.
Well, from what I'm noticing, I got two sides of the audience. So I got a side of the audience that clearly loves me, that we don't always agree, but when we disagree, we do it with like respect. Um, they come in with ideas, they come in with great comments. Usually, they like my ideology and love the facts that I'm bringing to the table, and they love my delivery. So I have that sector of my audience and stuff like that. Then I have another side of the audience, the dark side of the audience, the trolls, the haters, the suspected WSers. Sometimes they're very anti-black. The things that they say, you feel me? They are bigots, racists. Some of them is coons. I don't know if you know what a coon is, but some of them that be commenting and the other side of that audience, that's what they is. And yeah, I've embraced that I have two sides of the audience. What's happening is the love side of my audience is starting to grow a little bit more. That's been tougher to get because my delivery and actually the stuff that I talk about. You know, I mean, it ruffle feathers, but hey, if you ain't ruffling no feathers, it's like how you gonna make the chicken, you know? And then the hate side of my audience always been there, no matter what I've been doing. I mean, like before I did newsworthy content, I did music video reviews. Had a bunch of haters on there talking crap, you know? So I always done had the hate side of the audience down packed. It's just the love side needed more, and it's starting to become more present. So that's
Uh-huh.
how my audience is constructed. So
Yeah.
love my love side of the audience. The other side of the audience, F them. They
Hmm.
could go, you know what I mean? This PC, right? No cursing on here, right?
Yeah. And
Okay, just making sure.
yeah, like I said, you like I said, we can like YouTube and Instagram, it's you can put your personality there for your audience, and there's something for everybody. And what's
Mm-hmm.
interesting is what is you mentioned the term, I'm just curious, what is coons? What is that?
Coon usually is a black American, but it
Uh-huh.
also could be a black person from the diaspora, from the UK, wherever, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
And they come over here, or they're already here because they're a black American, and they have vitriol or towards us as black Americans and black people, and they uphold the ideology of white supremacy, which comes with the cooning. So somebody like sometimes Stephen A. Smith, he be kind of cooning. This guy named Tommy Sotomayor, cooning, where it's kind of like it's the whole shucking and jiving for, you know, the white person so you could get ahead socially in life in their eyes. So yeah, that's what coon means. So,
Oh,
and
interesting.
also, you know, coon can mean like, I mean, other races could probably have a version of coons and things in that nature, you know?
Yeah,
But yeah,
interesting.
that's what it means. Hmm.
Yeah. Are you Gen Z or you're millennial?
I'm gonna be honest, I be not knowing the F what I am at times. I guess I'm a millennial
Uh,
because I'm 36, but that stuff be confusing me. I'm like, wait a minute, am I a millennial or Gen Z? I think I'm on the cusp. I don't
uh,
know. I them things be confusing me. I think I'm a millennial though. So
okay.
yeah,
You're you're 36. Yeah, you're a millennial. Yeah. You're
yeah.
like
Gen Zs are what? 30. When is Gen
Gen Z.
Z?
That's a good question. Gen Z is what
See,
may I would say they're less than like in their 20s, yeah. I think that's Gen Z because my niece is Gen Z. She's 19.
yeah.
And but the older Gen Z is probably what, like 29, 30. That's what it kind of blurs, but yeah, so
You know what? I'm gonna ask my bro Google right here. Bam. Research and popular media loosely use the mid to late 1990s as starting birth years and the early 2010s as ending birth years for defining Gen Zers. So early 90s. So probably like 90 mid to so like 95 is when they start into the
90.
2010s. So yeah, I'm most definitely a millennial. So
So you're millennial. Okay.
yeah.
Okay, yeah,
Gen,
yeah.
Gen Zs are I would say probably like 25 and under, maybe 24. So
25 under. So we're 20, so 2000s then, the 2000s, yeah. Or actually, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Or 95 and above, yeah.
yeah.
So
So got our answer. Most definitely ain't a Gen Zer.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, question for you: which platform does your audience most resonate with? Is it YouTube? Is it? I mean, I would think like streaming would be really popular for you and your audience. But I'm just that's kind of that's why I'm asking you. But
Yeah, so I would say any of them streaming platforms like Twitch, YouTube, they resonate very well on.
yeah,
LinkedIn, they starting to resonate very well on too. LinkedIn and Twitter. Because I'm able to
really,
go live on there too and stuff like that. So they
yeah.
resonate on those platforms and stuff. But a lot of my traction comes from YouTube. I get a lot of comments from YouTube and Reddit. Reddit,
Oh, interesting.
I get a lot of traction and comments and stuff off of there too. So those is the platforms. that I get traction on, that resonate with my style of content and
Okay.
things in that nature, you know.
Interesting. Reddit. Reddit has actually been one of those platforms that that is always been there, but it's kind of it's like because kind of the professionals go to LinkedIn and Twitter, the creatives go to like YouTube and Instagram, TikTok.
Hmm.
What kind of audience goes to Reddit?
Mostly the incels. A lot
Incels.
of incels. Yeah. You know
What
what
is
an
it?
incel is?
No, what is
Incels, the
that?
motherfucker that ain't been having no sex, so they angry because they ain't having no sex. They usually blame women for them being sexless and mad
Uh,
at them. Those is incels. There's a lot of those on Reddit. Now it's a good amount of good people on there, and you can get some good
yeah,
information. But
yeah.
it's a lot of hating mother effers out there on Reddit. That's what Reddit is. Reddit is
Uh,
think of Twitter on steroids. That's Reddit. You know how
oh, okay.
Twitter is.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Or
yeah,
X if you want to be what it is now or whatever. But that's
yeah,
how Reddit is. But Reddit is really great though. It doesn't help get my numbers up and stuff and get my message out there and things in that nature. But you just
yeah,
gotta be prepared for the stupidity on Reddit. And literally, that's how I got my nickname, the Black Seinfeld, on
yeah.
Reddit.
Black,
So
yeah. It's where all the game stoppers were in the AMC. It's like it's basically I assume it's all a lot of males. It's that fair assessment or
yeah.
when you're
Hmm.
um yeah.
A lot of
Interesting.
lot of males. They might have some Reddit women groups, but it's a lot of men, and most of them men is like I said, like they
Yeah.
probably in their mama basements or you know what I mean. They
Yeah,
they
yeah.
they just hating because life ain't going too good for them. So I'm like, God damn,
Yeah.
man. But Reddit, like I say, is a great tool to
Yeah.
use. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking Speaking of YouTube, just got a comment on one of my videos. I ain't gonna read it. It might be a hater. I don't know yet. So
So kind of what's interesting is so this you have this what does this mean house sway? What does that mean house sway?
I don't know if you remember when Kanye went on to Sway, and Sway is a radio personality. He
Uh-huh.
has people on his show, Sway in the Morning,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
this was way back in the day. Like man, when was that? I forget the year, but Kanye West was arguing with Sway, and then basically Sway was telling him that why are you trying to get into the fashion game and be along with the white folks in power when you can just start your own stuff and start your own entity and do your own stuff and it could all be black owned. And then
Uh-huh.
that's when Kanye was like, "How, Sway? How, Sway? You ain't got all the answers." So that's why I say, "How, Sway?" You feel me? So
Uh-huh.
that's where it comes about.
Yeah. What that reminds me of is Tyler Perry because Tyler Perry was really he's built a media empire in Atlanta and
Yeah.
he was like screw the whites I'm not working for a studio and I'm gonna create my own studio and create his own movies and it's interesting because I was watching his movies and it's got a lot of satire against like the against the whites and it's
Hmm.
it's I think yeah, I think it's an interesting frame, owning your content and as opposed to like being part of a label, create your own record label, which is what you're talking about. So, um,
Oh no, no, not the record label. Sway was telling Kanye to start your own fashion brand because
oh,
this is when
fashion.
Kanye was trying to get into fashion and he was talking about the gatekeepers in
Yeah.
fashion. And Sway was like, "You got enough pull, enough notoriety, just start your own stuff. You might spend a little bit more money
Yeah.
on the beginning, but you're gonna
Yeah.
come out in the long run really good." And Kanye wasn't feeling that. He was just more of like, they ain't letting me in. They ain't letting me into the club. Blah blah blah. How, Sway? You ain't got the answers. And it's like, but now, hindsight 2020, we're coming to now. Kanye actually told Sway like, you was actually correct. I should have just started my own stuff and just created my own entity, just like Tyler Perry did. You feel me? And see, the
Yeah.
thing is, the reason why you got to start these own entities and stuff like that, because these mother effers ain't selling it to us. Tyler Perry tried to buy BET. Byron Allen tried to buy BET. See, most people don't know BET is actually owned by this woman named Sherry Redstone, which was passed down to her by her husband, Sumner Redstone, which are white folks, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
the thing is, they don't want to sell BET, and you got to think to yourself, why does she don't want to sell a failing asset? Right now, BET, the advertisers are underpaying them. They're in massive amount of debt. Real talk, black people not really watching BET like they did back in the day. So why
Yeah.
is Sherry Redstone still holding on to this asset that not only two black men, Tyler Perry and Byron Allen, but 50 Cent, and I think P. Diddy was about to buy BET at one point. Many black men was trying to buy BET and was going to overpay, but Sherry Redstone still wanted to keep on to that asset. And you got to be like, well, why? Because it's a power thing. Now she controls how we're depicted in black entertainment compared to if
Mm.
Tyler Perry or Byron Allen will buy it. So at that point, it's like, see, they tell us get our money up so we can buy these things. But when we do get our money up, they're like, nah, we're gonna hold on to it. So just use your money to buy to create your own entity and be a competition with them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And also the thing about it, a lot of people don't know. Sherry Redstone is actually trying to sell the parent company of BET because BET is owned by Paramount and Paramount is owned by National Amusements. She's trying to sell National Amusements to this guy named David Ellison, who is the owner of Skydance Media. You see the whole game being played right here. So why go through that shit, or my bad, that ish, when you could just start up your own entity? You feel me? Which Tyler Perry is doing. So
Yeah.
a
Interesting.
little breakdown right there, you know.
Yeah. The other thing that's really interesting is and the same thing with Oprah, because Oprah, when she first started out, I think she was an anchor, and then they said she was too emotional, and then basically she went and started her own Oprah. Well, I guess she started have her own TV show, and then she started her
Yeah.
own network.
Mm-hmm.
So what is this what is White Tony? What is that? What is White Tony?
Why Tony? I was just playing around. It just sounds funny. You
Okay.
feel me?
Uh,
Why Tony? It's a funny phrase.
oh, okay.
There's nothing really to it. When I was on Pod Match, I was like, yo, let me be
Uh,
different than everybody else on their Pod Match description. And they be like
yeah.
telling their whole life story. And it's like, why you telling your whole life story when you're supposed to tell that in the interview during the
Yeah.
pod? You know? People would
Yeah,
be like,
yeah.
yeah, I was born in 1985 on the west side of freaking wherever.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
when I came
yeah.
out when I was 2, I did Google Gaga. That's what I started out saying. And my first words was, I don't know, give me. And I'm like, God, please. So why Tony was just something I just put to just be comical.
Oh, okay. What
Yeah.
about Where Elmo? Is it the same thing or is it different?
Nah, where Elmo? Because I didn't want to put Where's Waldo. It's too generic. So where's Elmo? And everybody, I remember when I was a little kid, I was like, "Where the hell is my Elmo?" And we couldn't afford to buy me Elmo, so I was always
Yeah.
like, "Where he at?" He
Oh.
was everywhere on TV, but never in my crib.
Yeah,
Damn.
yeah.
So
Um, this is interesting and also what I think is like your audience, like you have a very interesting personality, and it'll resonate. And if you get on YouTube, that's why I really love learning from, different individuals. And what do you mean by was Annie really okay? What is that?
okay, so remember when Michael Jackson was saying, "Annie, are you okay? Are you okay, Annie?" So is Annie really okay? We never got the answer. Shout out to Michael Jackson. R.I.P. to Michael Jackson. And since we're on this topic, he would never sell his catalog to Sony. Never. You heard about Sony buying Michael Jackson catalog?
Yeah, I mean, all I know about Michael Jackson is that he makes more money now that now that he's, passed on than he did in
Hmm.
his entire lifetime. He makes more like posthumous than he is like when he was
Yeah,
living. It's incredible.
yeah,
So
his estate does, you feel me? And it's like
yeah.
every artist like that, man. After
Yeah,
they die, shit just skyrocket. Bow.
yeah.
But like I said, he would never sold his catalog to Sony, man. He was
Yeah,
beefing
yeah.
with them.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah.
What is harder to lift, a pound of feathers or a pound of gold?
What you think?
Well, I mean, a pound of gold, I mean, a pound of gold is heavier, so I'm just curious what that means. So,
Are you sure? Because a pound of feathers seems like the same as a pound of gold.
oh, it's the same weight. I see what you mean. Yeah, yeah. Well, yeah. Well, that's cool.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah.
Makes you think.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's actually, yeah, you're right. It's like which falls faster, if you do like a feather or if you do like if you drop them from a building, which would, but they have they're changing speed at the same rate. One may fall faster just because it's heavier, but
Hmm.
their rate is still the same. So, yeah, that's actually like I said, you have a lot of interesting twists. How can people follow you and here I think your content is really funny and I'm sure YouTube and Twitter and all those, so
Yeah. Well, so
yeah,
people can follow me on all the socials, you feel me?
yeah.
TikTok, Twitter, Facebook,
Yeah.
YouTube, all podcast platforms, Apple, Spotify, whatever you want to call it, wherever. Hell,
Yeah.
you can type it into Google also. All you got to do is type in Kamal Johnson Network. And how you
uh,
spell Kamal is Kamal. I know some of y'all want to put a C, and that's no, that's camel. All right. So Kamal Johnson Network. All
yeah,
right. I just keep it simple, straight to the
yeah.
point, easy to find me.
And you're also a podcast host of the Gab. What is the Gab? What does that talk about?
So like I said, I'm a news anchor for that show, and that
Yeah.
show falls within my network, Kamal Johnson Network.
Okay.
And
Oh, okay.
that so I had four shows, and certain shows like interchange with each other, but now I have three: The
Uh,
Gap, Storm in the Brain, and The Sears Glare. So The
yeah.
Gap is more of like I try to give my perspective as a Black American
Uh,
in America on certain topics that
okay,
I
okay.
deem is important. So,
Yeah.
like the latest thing that I talked about with the Gap was that how are they trying to gatekeep us from what us Black Americans created, aka
Uh,
country music, because that's really big right now. Because Beyonce and now radio stations is like, nah, we're not playing this Beyonce song. This ain't country, and it's like, wait a minute, why are y'all gatekeeping something that we created?
yeah.
Even if like I'm not a country fan, I don't listen to that ish. Okay. But I do care about another group trying to gatekeep from what we created when we're leasing it out to y'all.
Yeah.
So the Gab focuses on more topics like that and things in
Uh,
that nature. Sometimes I might come with something that's off the wall that might not be anything in that's popular or nothing like that, you know? But it's
yeah.
more just my perspective as a Black American
Uh,
on the topic at hand. But also within that show, I do movie, shows, and album reviews.
oh, cool. Nice.
And then I have another segment where I call it meme time. And
Yeah.
there I have just a couple memes because I think memes are funny. They're never gonna go away,
Yeah.
you know. And I just have that's a sector. So the Gab I try to construct it like a show where there's three sectors that have the Gab topics. Then the where I review the movie, shows and albums. I call
Yeah.
that the SAF segment because
Okay.
shows, albums, films, SAF
Okay. Seth, yeah, yeah.
segment. Yes. And then
Cool.
meantime. So that's what the gap consists of.
Okay. What does GAB stand for? Yeah.
So I know you heard of the term the gift of gab, the ability to speak to anybody and stuff like that. The you have
Okay.
charisma and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
I was I when I said the Gab at first, I was just like, okay, this I like the name, and people done said I had the Gab before, and
Yeah,
I
yeah,
was like, it's very catchy, and I mean, I do got charisma from what I've been told. So I was
yeah,
like, oh,
yeah.
let me go with that. But down the line, and once again, read it. But actually, this person was actually a good commenter. He'll be part of the love side of my audience. And what he told me, he was like, bruh, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing God's work, bro. Keep giving advice. And I was like, oh, at this point, Gab means God's advice, bruh. Bruh. To be at the end, I say bruh a lot.
Yeah,
GA, God's advice. Because this advice ain't coming from me, it's coming from God to me
interesting.
to give to y'all. And when that person said that, I was like, boom. So that's what the Gab means
Oh, that's cool.
to me.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah. Well, I really enjoyed this conversation. It's really, like I said, I think you can use your personality to, um, and anchor, to your ideas and views for the audience. And it really resonates with a lot of mainstream things, with music, entertainment, sports. And, I think you keep it up. And, are you doing stand-up comedy or no? Or are
No,
you
I
on?
never done stand-up
Yeah.
comedy
Oh, okay.
before. I mean,
Yeah,
people done they told me
yeah.
like you should try it and stuff, but I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't know. I got a
yeah.
lot of stand-up comic friends and stuff. And
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
you know, uh
yeah.
shout out to James, you feel me? Great stand-up comic. You gotta get back out there though, you feel me? My other
Yeah.
homie Joey from Florida, incredible stand-up comic, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Cray Russian, instead of stand-up comic out here in Dago. I reside in San Diego, but I'm from the Bay Area. I'm from Oakland, California. Moved
Oakland,
out
yeah.
here in '05. So
Uh,
yeah. Uh who else? Walter Ford doing his thing. Great comic in my eyes. You know what I
yeah.
mean? Um who else? Who else? Dang, there was two other people. If I forgot y'all, don't be mad. Y'all know y'all great comics too, you feel me? These just the names that popped up in my mind as of
Yeah.
as of right now, you feel me?
Yeah. And I really love how, like, for example, the R&B and the hip hop culture really, these innovators and, you have white kids, wearing shoes and, doing all this, which is, bigger than, a lot of white brand labels, which is really this R&B and, rap and hip hop, all these musical genres are much bigger. So, kudos, I love the creativity in this space and really owning it and using your experiences and your upbringing to, create culture and through music, entertainment, movies, sports, all of that. So
Yeah.
excellent.
Oh, I will say this. Let me talk to the white kids out there that is with hip hop and stuff like that. Let me tell you something. Black Americans created hip hop. Let's stop all the BS, okay? Now other people contributed to it, but I'm tired of the notion where it seems like that we haven't created nothing. And I'm noticing that a group comes in, embraces our stuff, loves it, and then after a while we're not paying attention. They be like, "Yeah, we created this," and they be like, hold on. We glad that y'all embrace it, and we're leasing out the culture to y'all. But god damn it, stop saying y'all created it. No, contribution don't mean creation. So I just
Yeah.
had to tell that to the little white kids out there. You feel me? You know what I mean? And some of the Spanish kids too. It's like they're saying that hip hop was created by like Spanish people and Black Americans, and it's like no, not at all. Feel me?
Yeah.
But I love y'all. I love the kids unless y'all bad as hell. Nah, then sometimes I'll keep that to myself. Love the
Yeah. Yeah.
kids. All right.
Excellent. All right.
Yeah.
Well, thanks so much. And for all the audience out there, be sure to give Kamal a like and follow on all his socials. Check out his work. You get a really fantastic laugh and just, as well as educated as well. And with that, thanks so much for coming on.
I appreciate you. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.